Okay.
That work?
Yep. Open it up. Okay, so if I remember correctly, you were a mid player. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I was looking to. I mean, I remember you saying that we needed to figure out what I actually wanted to work on, and I usually play with this stack. I just want to be better at carrying, specifically safe lane. I mean,
okay.
Off lane too, but I think where I'm weakest and where I need to improve most is in the safe lane.
Okay. Yeah, carry is like a really great role to learn, just because like a lot of the things that you learn in the carry role either apply directly to other lanes like mid and off lane, or they apply in other ways to support. Like a support plays a part in whatever the carry does. So that's good. So playing carry is usually a good role to learn. That's good. I'll look through matches really quick just to see what's going on here. Mostly like, I don't want to say it's as simple as just pushing out waves a lot and like not dying, but that's pretty much the gist of it. Obviously, much easier said than done. But yeah, okay.
I get that much. It's not usually the early game I have trouble. I tend to do really well in lane, even if I'm solo. But it's the late game decision making.
Okay.
So go back into a fight, stuff like that.
Yeah. So this is actually like a common misconception that people have is like they think that a lot of things that happen in the late game actually matter. Obviously, they do matter within the context of that game, but most of the time it really doesn't matter, because like you made so many mistakes, for the first 20, 25 minutes of the game, that like the game would be really easy for you if you had made half of those mistakes. And just looking at your CS counts and like your builds on Jug and stuff, I'm kind of like confirming this idea, at least for you specifically.
Sure.
Like for example, this Jug game, it lasted 43 minutes, and you have 98 CS, and you also built an Aghanim Scepter. You don't have a Battle Fury. There's just a bunch of stuff here that I'm seeing that is like big red flags. So, okay. How close to?
By the way, Skype is done.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. So my username is Echo Coaching. Do you mind adding me? Okay.
Do you see that?
I should in a second. Usually takes like 10 minutes because this program is not the best.
No, I hate Skype.
Yeah, I do as well. But unfortunately, it's the only thing that like, works as a voice program and also a screen sharing thing. And it also doesn't lag me horribly. And yeah, it also leaks my IP address, which is great. Great feature. Big fan of that. But yeah. It's what we got. I'm looking around for other programs though, unfortunately. Okay. So I haven't gotten to E yet. Here, what's your username? And oh no, I just got it. Okay, cool. Okay, so I'm gonna call you on that, and we can do the screen sharing thing.
Okay.
All right, thanks, man. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Let me know if it's good. It should be like pretty low frame rate, but it should be around like 15 or so.
I do see it though. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. So, yeah, I was just looking at your Dota buffs, and like, see, this is the game I was talking about. You have very low CS. The build is pretty. Gonna be honest, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, those games we were just fucking around though.
Okay.
If we were to look at like.
Okay.
Today's game, I knew because I knew we were going to actually ask this, kind of go through this. Today's game was like more typical of how I would go at Jug.
Okay, so this normal bracket, normal matchmaking, yeah. Okay, even in this one, your CS is still pretty low, I would argue. It's not like unbelievably low. Like the last one was where it was 98 at 40 minutes. Like that's extremely low. That's very not something that I would expect of a 3K player. So I can kind of see how you were fucking around or whatever. So definitely. But yeah, even this one is a bit low. You generally want to go for like 10 CS per minute. So you should have adjusting for like the portion of the game where you would be 6-slotted and thus you don't have to farm as much anymore. You should have like around 400 CS in a 50-minute game. Part of this is because of your builds. Just really quick, Aghanims is not a good item on Jug.
Okay.
It just doesn't help.
Even
Basically,
with,
like
a Huskar?
even with the Huskar, yeah, because you can just build physical damage and just like kill him. It's that simple. Well, obviously it's not that simple, right? Because you can get CC'd or maybe he gets really fed or whatever, and you can't keep up with him. But yeah, and also like there's a lot of stuff that the enemy team can do to counteract your ult. Like in this game, Invoker could Yules, he could, or Bane could Nightmare, he could buy a Lotus Orb, instead he bought a Dagon. Yeah, they just have a bunch of things to do that make your ultimate useless. I don't see the value in the item personally. Maybe there's some niche situations where like the enemy team has no counters to it, and you can also do a lot of physical damage, and you also can't buy BKB for whatever reason. I don't know. I think that there's just no reason to go for the item when you can go for just the standard Battle Fury SNY or Yasha item or whatever.
And so first item, you would always suggest SNY or Battle Fury.
I go Battle Fury actually.
Okay.
There are some situations where you need to go SNY, like where you need to win a team fight or you lose. Like say the enemy team is pushing or whatever. But even in those situations, like unless you're playing at the highest level of Dota, like not even 7K, like above that professional play, it won't matter because most of the time, like teams aren't going to execute like perfect high ground pushes and like 15-minute wins or whatever. Maybe they do sometimes, but like it's still not going to be perfect. So in situations where like you would go SNY to fight, sometimes it's even better to just go Battle Fury and know that they're going to mess up. And you can continue to scale and grow that way.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna copy this. Actually, did you want to go over a specific game?
I wish I didn't have yesterday's games. We would have to go back pretty far.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. Go just look at these.
Maybe that ranked spec game.
Sure. Okay. So Spectre. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to download it. Okay, so you're playing against Lifestealer. Pudge, yep. Okay. Annoying heroes.
Mm-hmm.
This Arc Warden has less than 400 GPM. That is spectacular. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. I mean, there's... Okay, whatever. We'll talk about it in a game.
It's definitely the trend steer, that's for sure. But...
well, I've definitely seen worse. No worries. Yeah, okay. So first thing I noticed was you bought treads on Spectre. I think that's like okay. They're better for farming for sure, like 100%. Personally, I found the mobility of phase to be much better.
Okay.
Just because the nature of Spectre is like you want to chase people down with dagger and hit them. That's the case for me. I know RTZ sometimes goes phase, but recently has been transition, or he sometimes goes treads, but recently he's been transitioning to the phase builds, which I agree with for sure. Okay. So also as another point for phase in this game, they have like a few heroes that you can just chase down and kill, or like make them use a serious defensive cooldown, like Nyx being one of them, Arc Warden being the other. Basically, like these heroes have to stun you, go invis, or do something else defensively in order to live. Arc Warden has to use Magnetic Field if you go on him, and then it's only like a short duration. Otherwise, you can just chase them down and kill them, assuming you have like equal farm. So that's another argument for face.
Okay.
Okay, so first big mistake is your item build, and you also skill up. So start with the item build. So Coiling Blade is good on Spectre, like it's an item that you should have, but it's not something you buy right away. And this is because you can always buy it at the side shop. Basically, like this is always going to be here. Sometimes you're going to be in a position where you get zoned out of this, and then you can't go to the side shop, and then you have a harder time last sitting. That's fine, but What is not fine is the only regen items you can buy here are like regen over time items. So you can buy like Ring of Regen, which is 2 HP regen. Not super good, not super bad either though. Then Ring of Health, which is much better, much higher value. It's just really good. If you can get to this, it's great. Or how about the Iron Will? You're not going to build this on Spectre in most games. Where you can buy Bottle. Or I guess a Morbid Mask as well, but that's like fake regen. But yeah, so you can buy a Bottle and get Warden Charge. So basically,
what do you suggest as first items?
Tango Salve, or what other people have been doing is getting 2 sets of Tangos and then Stout Shield. Basically, long story short, is always buy 2 sets of regen, no matter what lane you're playing against if you're carry. No matter what hero you're playing, just always do it. It could either be Tango Salve or 2 sets of Tangos, and then you're golden. But yeah, I think you understand my reasoning for that. It's just you can buy it in base, but you can't buy it out here. So that's actually really important.
And what's your position on the new Fairy Fires and whatnot?
Well, I think they're good. I think sometimes they're a little bit overbought, but for the most part, like they're just a good item. I don't usually buy them on carry unless I know I'm against a tri-lane, because like it really is a fighting item, right? Like it gives you extra damage, which is good, you know, for last sitting as well. But really, the value of the item comes from getting 75 HP just like as soon as you use it, which can be really good in fights. Like that's very good at level 1, you know, to level 3. Even later on, it's okay. But yeah, so it's a good item, but it's generally reserved for like offlane and mid heroes, I'd say personally. Maybe supports too, to an extent. Probably supports too, actually. It's pretty good. Okay, so I'm not saying this is the right play here, but a trick you can do against teams with no CC, like these guys, like they only have Pudge Hook to CC you, is you can run here, dagger over the cliff, and then go for the rune, and that's pretty safe as long as you run right back. You have to dodge Pudge Hook in this case, but yeah. Assuming he starts hook.
That again? Like, is the screen moving for you?
Oh yeah, it is. Here's I'll restart the sharing thing. Okay.
Yeah, because I didn't see
Is
what
it
you
good?
showed today.
Yeah, no, it just randomly freezes up like that. Okay, so basically, like when you're going for the bounty rune, or when you want to go for a bounty rune, you can dagger this way, like start up here, then dagger down towards the rune, and then you can take it and run back, or try to take it anyway. Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah, that's something good you can do. You gotta be a little careful, and dodge CC and all that, but yeah. Okay. 1 sec.
Yeah, the frame rate is really low.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's really not like much good software out there for screen sharing. Like I could obviously stream, but then there's like a 45-second delay, and that's not good. But yeah, as long as it's like 10 FPS, it should be okay. Sorry, not much I can do about it really, unfortunately.
No, it's not. It's not your fault.
Okay. So yeah, let's jump into this. Okay, so the first thing you did was go to block. This is good. You definitely want to do this. Okay. Here, since you're playing against 2 range heroes, you want to pull the creep blade back with the aggro trick. Wyvern actually does this. Probably not intentionally though. Like she was just hitting somebody. So you know what the aggro trick is, right? Like where you issue an attack command.
Heroes and pull them back.
Yep. So you want to do that just so you can get their creeps on your side of the lane, and they're easier to last hit. It's that simple. There's also some like nuances to like how much damage they're doing at the same time, but yeah. The big thing is they get closer to you, they're easier to last hit. And you can keep doing this every time you want to go for a CS. This is really important in this lane, where they're just going to be harassing you with right clicks from range. So this is big. Okay.
It seems frozen again.
It's frozen?
Yeah.
Holy shit, okay. It's extra bad. Okay. Sharing screen. Should be good.
Yeah, it's going again.
Okay. So yeah, this is all fine. The lane is in a good spot for you. Okay, then go up. But yeah, you're going to run into an issue here where you don't have enough regen to stay in the lane. The only way you heal after you use all your tangos is like Wyvern salves you, or like gives you tango, or Gold embraces you. And kind of don't want to do that. I mean, obviously she can give you tangos, that's okay, but yeah. Definitely need more regen in this lane in particular, but yeah. Okay. Okay, I want to watch this to see what happens again. So you get Fire Spirited, you can't really do much about that other than dodge it. Not the most helpful though. Okay. So you ended up missing a lot of CS, and I'm not going to go over this too much, but it is something you want to practice, especially if you play a lot of Spectre. The hero is just like obviously very farm dependent, and she also happens to be a hero that just sucks in lane. That's just one of Spectre's like character traits. Like she's just not good in lane at all, especially against dual lanes like this. So any CS that you can get, you need to like, or any CS that is possible to get, you need to try to make sure that you're getting it. Obviously, again, way easier said than done. Like, there's no magic CSing button or anything like that. But yeah.
Any particular way that I should, I mean, besides the obvious of playing Dota, but practice getting the CS?
Well, there's a few things that you can do. So I'm going to pause this really quick. Okay, so a lot of people like laugh when I mention this, but let's hit challenge. It's actually this custom game is really good. Yeah, no, it's a really good thing. Basically what you do is, you do the normal last hitting, and that's all good. You just last hit without items. That's really good practice. And also you can pull the wave back to your tower. So like you deny your creeps whenever they get below 50%, and then you just pull the wave back. Like, let's see. So, okay, I can't. There we go. Okay. So like, let's say the creep wave is here, in the neutral position, where it's just like, the creep waves meet at the start of the game. You deny your creeps and then pull it back, and then keep doing that until it gets to your tower, and then you can last hit it under tower. And that's really good practice as well.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I recommend anyway. Like, the best way to get better at CSing is to CS. Right. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's like dribbling in basketball. It's just one of those things that like needs to be natural, or as natural as possible. At first, it's not going to be, of course. Like, advanced CSing under tower is not something that like everyone can do just like naturally, even if you're like gifted or whatever. But yeah, with practice, anyone could do it for sure. Okay. Forward. Okay, so here's a place where you could apply the aggro trick. Basically, this CS is getting pretty low, and they're also fighting for it, like they're denying it here. So if you pull it back here, rather than going for the deny, you can go for the CS. That's something you definitely want to do. You could also have done it there. Basically, when you do that, when the creep is getting low, you're increasing your chance of getting it because these guys' attack projectiles have to try to travel farther in order to, like complete and get the deny. So that would be good. That's something you need to apply often, or you don't need to, obviously, but if you want to, do better in your lanes, this is something you should do. So like here, you could do it as well, just on the CS. It's going to get pretty low here. Your range creep is hitting it. So like right now, you could pull it, then Arc Warden's attack will hit, yada yada. You end up getting it anyway, but yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So it's like a constant thing. You're constantly doing the aggro trick.
Well, yes, if the situation calls for it, and like that's kind of a cop-out answer, so I'll try to explain. Basically, like anytime you're going to be contested on a CS, you can do this. This is one of your options that you have, or also like if somebody is going to contest you on a CS, they're also leaving themselves vulnerable. So like you could go on them at that point, or something like that. Obviously, it's different in this case because like you can't just go on these heroes; they're just going to kill you.
No,
or, like,
I have no idea how to beat Arc Warden in lane. Like I continually get whipped by him every time he's against me. I don't know enough about the hero.
Yeah, that pretty much. You know how his Q works, right? Like his slow.
Yeah, that's his DOT slow, right?
Yeah. So basically, if you're isolated, like if you're this Phoenix in River, and then Arc Warden slows you, you take full damage. But if you are the Spectre inside the creep wave with a bunch of units next to you, then you take no damage. So that's pretty much the trick to it. He's just a range creep. Like
to stay in crowds.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's the way his Spark Wraith works as well. If he just plants it down, like, next to a creep wave, he puts it right here, then it's going to go to the closest target. So you just, keep that in mind when you do it. Other than that, he's a wimp. You just kill him. You can treat him like a sniper almost even.
Okay.
Obviously he has Magnetic Field, which is a good spell for fighting, but it's not that good early on. It's only good later when, like, you're doing more damage and stuff. But yeah, that's the trick to it. Like if Wyvern ever slows him, you can just dagger him and he dies, like guaranteed, unless he TPs out or something. Assuming he's alone anyway. Like when Fire Spirits come into play and Sunray and all that, it gets tricky. But
Can you not Icarus dive out of it though?
Oh no! I'm talking about Arc Warden. Sorry. Like basically, like if this hero ever gets slowed, then he's just dead. But yeah, Phoenix obviously different because he can just travel 1,400 units instantly, which is kind of a problem. But yeah, I think you get my point. As this hero is just like he's a very shitty laner. He becomes really good when he gets like necro, and that's about it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so that's how you beat Arc Ward, is just kill him in most cases.
Just kill him. All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really easy. Like, if you think about the carry heroes that are in play currently, like let's just run down the list really quick. Okay, so Alchemist has a stun, possible to kill him. Even Acid Spray plus another stun from a support, probably enough to kill him, depending on, positioning and all that. Okay, carry heroes. Legion Commander has enough damage to kill him. You just need, some kind of CC. Lycan, same thing. Blah, blah, blah. Sven has a stun, can run on top of him very quickly with Warcry. If he has another stun, he's dead. Yeah, it's pretty much like any two heroes can kill Arc Warden in lane, so long as they have some kind of CC. He's like very, very weak. Especially if it's in the off lane. Because, the lane is so long.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Okay, and of course you can just beat him by being like better, right? Just being better at last hitting, denying, lane pressure, harassing, all that stuff. But the easy way is just to press all your buttons on him with your support. Okay, so you end up going for treads first. This isn't bad. I talked about it earlier. Like treads are better for farming just because they have higher DPS. Definitely would have preferred phase, but it's okay. If you do go treads,
I'll build that from now on. I think I'll go phase.
Yeah, you should definitely try it and see how you like it. But just for this instance, if you do go treads, it's usually better to get either Belt of Strength or a Band of Elven Skin. I imagine you got the Gloves of Haste for like the attack speed, which is fine. But I think I would go for a Band of Elven Skin instead if you're going for attack speed. Like you know about the trick where you can build treads out of Gloves of Haste and then any of these 3 items?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so in this case, you could just go for the Elven Skin Band or whatever it is, and you'll get some, damage, some attack speed, and rather than going for Gloves of Haste, which only gives you attack speed.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Or you could also go for Belt of Strength if, you're in a very precarious situation where you need a lot of HP. That would be good as well. Okay. Okay, so this is something that like a lot of carry players will do, and they don't think about. Basically, like people are very resigned to the idea of the support being the one who pulls the lane. But in this case, like it would have benefited you quite a bit to just take action and pull the lane back. Basically, like the lane is in a bad position, right? Because if it's here, then it's very hard for you to CS no matter what.
Right.
Even if there's nobody in here, it's still like a little scary because you're close to the T1 tower. Right. So in this case, you could have, instead of like going backwards here, you could have gotten these CS, and then immediately gone to this camp and pulled it, into the oncoming creep wave, and that would pull the lane back. Like you had plenty of time to do this.
I never think of pulling that one. I always think of that main one behind the T1.
Yeah, the small camp. No, this camp is great. You should abuse this, especially if it's like at 50 seconds. Like so. Right, I'll speed up and show you. Okay, so like right now is a fantastic time to pull it because it'll stack in addition to like being pulled. Then you can farm the stack afterward.
Right.
Like farming stacks is hard for most heroes, especially Spectre, just because like she has no AoE damage other than Dagger, which does like literally 100 damage, which is jack shit for stacks. But it's really good to have the creeps help you with this because they tank all the damage. So yeah, it makes your life as a carry much easier. Especially when you're considering like how much this helps the lane equilibrium. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely a big deal. Something you should consider implementing. Unfortunately, there's no like manual for that. It's basically just like if the lane is too far forward, try to get somebody to pull. If nobody pulls, then do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I believe his Pudge should die. I don't know if Wyvern has mana. Looks like she does not. That's unfortunate. Okay. So like I'm pretty sure if you guys just Arctic Burn and then Dagger Pudge, he just dies. He might suicide, but that's it. Also, if Phoenix casts spells or whatever, then she's going to be very low. She's in kill threshold as well. So definitely should have gone on Pudge here with Dagger and like Winter's or Arctic Burn, but that's okay. Wyvern ends up using her mana, so yeah. Okay, so you could get a little aggressive and harass. That's good. Okay. So yeah, you're being a little bit too safe here.
Okay, so it should be more aggressive.
Well, in this case, yeah, because like you're not under pressure anymore. I mean, the worst case scenario here is Phoenix uses her spells on you, gets super low, and then has to back, right? Because like all of her spells cost HP, and also like the very common Phoenix build now is what this guy is doing, which is the Max Sunray build. Not only does the spell cost HP, it also makes her immobile, unless she cancels it, and in which case she goes for Nickers Dive. So if this guy goes on you when you go for CS, like in this case here, or if you go for denies, you just dagger her and she dies. Or she has to, Icarus dive away, and then, she can die to, like, Arctic Burn, something like that. So this guy, all of his aggressive potential is kind of, like, down the drain until he regens up. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, in this case, you should have been, maybe not aggressive, but you should definitely be going for denies at least, and CS. Definitely no reason to play back. Especially since Pudge just TP'd in your face. Like, he just went, somewhere else for whatever reason.
Right.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, this is another time where you could have done the pulling thing. Basically, like, this camp pull is really good when you have nothing else to do. That's mainly because it fucks with the equilibrium, denies a little bit of EXP, and it also stacks, it gives you more gold. Whereas, like, if you consider what you're trading off for this, it's literally nothing. Like, you get the CS, okay, you should have gone for the CS as well. But, yeah, so you get these two CS, you just go pull immediately. And then instead of doing this, you run back. And this is, like, not bad, obviously, because it doesn't, you don't lose anything. But, okay, so Wyvern actually pulled. But either way, I think you understand my point. Basically, like, you have nothing to do here, so you might as well pull, if it's possible. Because, like, it's a small advantage. Like, maybe you kill a small creep, or you kill the whole camp, or your creeps just die, and that's good as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Wyvern single pulls. Okay. Okay. So this is, like, pretty risky. Basically the main reason is because their supports could very well have TPs, and it looks like the Pudge does. Okay.
So you would not have suggested doing
that? No, but I mean, I guess it depends, right? Because it's only a bad play if Pudge TPs, right? He does have a TP on him, and he's like, I want to watch his player perspective to see if he even looks at all. I doubt he does. There's a fight going on mid, so yeah, he just doesn't look at all. But if he TPs down there, the play becomes really hard, right? Because he can just, if he lands a hook, you get dismembered and you die, and dying not good, obviously. Like, yeah. So yeah, he does end up TPing, but he fucks up a little bit. So I think it was like a bad conceptual play, just because like these guys had the option to just TP down there and kill you after you pass a certain point. Like pretty much right here, you have no other options but to go for this kill or like try to run away. But if Pudge TPs right here, then he gets pretty much a free hook, or he can just run at you with Rot.
Is it possible to do this and then Spectre into the trees to the right and TP out?
If you had a TP. If you had a TP, maybe, yeah. But it also relies on Pudge missing hook, right? And also you had Dagger on cooldown still because you used that to initiate. Like, it's still on cooldown here after you killed the Phoenix. So, yeah, I guess it would be possible, but it's reliant on Pudge being bad. So, I think that's a poor conceptual play.
Okay.
But if Pudge doesn't have a TP, and you scout that beforehand, like, let's say, like, okay, you acknowledge that Phoenix is a kill target, and, he's low, you guys can go for the kill or whatever. If you glance around the map and be like, oh, Arkward had no TP, Nyx no TP, okay, you saw Pudge mid as well, he had no TP, like, hypothetically, of course, then it would be okay to go for that, because they have no other options. Like, Phoenix is down here alone. The other team can't just magically get TP scrolls, unless they go to the side shop, but that takes time. So, yeah. I think you understand my point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 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 So I think this is fine. I wouldn't have gone for that personally. Yeah, that was okay. Okay, yeah, this is not good. I was waiting, like, I saw that you had this queued up in your inventory, but I wanted to see if you actually did it. You can't do this in most games.
What's that?
Go for a diffusal, especially if you go for the Blade of Alacrity. Basically, like, you just need HP, and you also need mana regen to an extent. But really, the HP is what matters. You have treads, which is great, but you need something more than that. Like, these guys just do too much damage with just spells alone to warrant you going for like a very aggressive build. And this applies to like literally 99.9% of games. Like, I don't think I can think of an exception where.
What about an Omni Knight?
If you were playing against an Omni Knight or with one?
Yeah, against one.
Well, actually, either one. It doesn't matter. Like, you still need HP.
Okay. So you would say not Diffusal Blade as first real item, ever?
Pretty much never. Like, it's okay to go Diffusal first major item, but you need like an Aquila or drums beforehand. I know the Badman build is like Phase, Aquila, Drum, Urn, Drum, Yasha into Diffusal. So like he has all of this led up. And if you don't know, Badman is like the 8.9k player, like literally 8.9k. Okay, yeah. So that's the Badman build, and like you'll see the main theme here is like HP. Until he gets to Yasha. But at this point, he has like the 6 strength from Urn, whatever it is. 3 strength from Aquila, and then 9 strength from Drums, whatever that is. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's high. It's a lot of HP. That's pretty much the theme of it. But anyway, like, if you're going for a fighting build, which is like what you're resigning yourself to do, if you go for a Diffusal, you need HP. Just HP is like the be-all, end-all stat early game for fighting. Or end-all. I just said be-all, end-all. Jesus. End-all, be-all. Whatever. Okay, English. But yeah, basically, like, long story short, if you're fighting, you need to go for HP, 100%. This applies to like any carry, like even Jug. I advocate going for a Battle Fury build, but the Jug build is still okay. So it's Phase, Aquila, Battle Fury. Like you still buy this little bit of HP. And okay, Sven for example. Sven is a strength hero, so he has a ton of HP naturally, but you still go Treads, which is HP, into HOD, which is armor and lifesteal. So it's like survivability on its own. So I think you get, my point. It's just like little stat items really do matter. You don't want to go too overboard, like
5 bracers or something.
Yeah, like 5. Okay, that's a pretty extreme example. I was trying to think of like an actual example, but okay. See, you clearly understand what I'm saying. If you say that, so okay, yeah. But they matter quite a bit, and it especially matters in games where you're gonna get punished more. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at this. Okay. So yeah, your CS count is a little bit low. It should be lower than normal because you were playing against a dual lane for a little bit. But other than that, you had like generally free farm, or like pretty close to free farm.
Are you looking at that right now?
Yeah.
All right, the screen's frozen again.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right, let's go.
It's doing okay there for a while, huh?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, is it good now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay,
and
yes.
So the CS is lower than it should be.
It's lower than it should be. Basically, like, perfect CS is something you should aim for. Sorry,
Okay.
What were you going to say?
I was going to ask, like, all right, let's say hypothetically 10 minutes, even with the 2 ranged, where should I be?
I'd say a safe bet is around 40, but I would like that to be like 50. Basically, perfect CS is 72. So if you account for like the 2 minutes, 3 minutes where you had Arc Warden and Phoenix laning against you, that would be, like you're going to miss a couple CS per wave. It comes out to around like, 15 to 20 in the 2 to 3 minutes. That ends the amount of CS that you're just going to miss naturally. So if you miss, around 22 CS, which is, 72 minus 22, it comes out to around 50.
Okay.
I would say it'd be pretty good. Realistically, you're probably not going to get that much, but you should still aim for literally perfect every game.
Right,
or,
of course.
Within the, like, you have to live within your means. So, like, if you're laning against a dual lane, obviously you're going to have less CS because they're going to be contesting you. They'll be zoning you a little bit more, stuff like that. But yeah, definitely like 50 at 10 minutes is a generally okay bookmark. Jesus, I actually can't speak English. Good lord. Okay, so it's an okay benchmark for like farming. on any carry really, but definitely shoot for higher than that if you can. Okay. So you started doing it here, which is good, but I was gonna say that you don't move your camera that often, and not necessarily around the map. Just like it doesn't very often leave your hero, unless it's like to look around the map for a haunt or whatever, which is good. This is a good habit, like to look around. But it would benefit you quite a bit to like look up and just see the HPs, or the hit points of the creeps, like just to see what's going on and like where the lane is gonna push. It's like, let's look at your camera right here. Okay, so this is your player perspective. So let's look. So you're looking up. This is fine. Right here, your camera doesn't need to be on this side. Like this entire block here is wasted. I can't make blocks for whatever reason. Like, okay, here. So this entire portion was wasted. This whole thing. Like, you don't need to see what's going on down here.
So it should be up.
Yeah, it should be up more. Because, like, you can still move your hero down slightly if you need to run away or whatever. Then you can just move your camera afterwards. And then,
just a small, stupid question. Do you side scroll or do you do the thing where you click and move?
I do the grip, and I side scroll sometimes, but it's like I couldn't actually explain when I do it. It's just like, you know, when it feels good. So I just do a combination. If I need to do like big movements, I click on the map, and that's good for me anyway. But yeah, I like the grip personally. It does come down to preference, though.
Okay, but you wouldn't see any like issue with me staying pure side scroll?
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's still some pro players that do that, so I mean, if they can do it, then you'll be fine. Sure. Just one thing I do recommend is like you turn. Let's look at this. Okay. Clicking is hard. I don't know where this option is. Oh yeah, okay, so camera deceleration. Like, I think you should turn this all the way up if you do that. Because, like, here, I'll just show you what it looks like when you turn it down. Unless you already know, in which case, like, I don't have to. But basically, like, you saw how crisp it was.
With that yet.
Okay, so, like, look at this. So, like, I move my camera to the side, and it, like, keeps going. So it's, like, really, I don't know, it's not precise. Whereas, like, okay. So if I turned it up.
I think mine is maxed out then, because mine definitely doesn't keep going.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Because you want it just to be crisp like this. Like, there's a very clear difference there. This is, like, allows for much more precise movements. I mean, you can get good with the deceleration very low, but I don't think there's any point. It's just making the game harder.
Right.
So yeah, yeah. So this is important, I think, if you're going to do that. But yeah, you're totally fine with edge banning. It's okay. Okay, so yeah, see, like, even right here, like, you don't have to be looking at your hero. Like, you're not doing anything here, so you might as well be, like, you know, just looking around and gathering information. You could see that, you know, these creeps are low. Maybe you could go for a dagger CS, something like that. You know, Pudge is using Rot. You know, he has a 4-staff. He's got Bottle. Like, you could just gather so much more information if you're looking, you know, around the map and clicking on things.
I'm always hesitant to use the dagger for CS just because I always like to keep it in my back pocket for escape. Is that wrong?
No, it's not wrong. That was just like an example of what, you know, you could do. Okay. I generally don't recommend you dagger for CS unless, like, you're very close to an item or whatever, or you have a lot of mana regen. But yeah. So basically, long story short is it's really good to click on things and move your camera around. Especially, like, it applies to at every point of the game, even in, like, the middle of a team fight. If you can actually do it, then it's really good. It's very hard, for sure. I can't even do that, you know, in probably, I'll say, like, 40% of my games I have issues doing that in team fights, which is, like, a really big chunk. Like, 40% is a lot. But yeah, basically, like, long story short, just look around and try to gather as much information as you can, especially in times where you're not doing anything. And in this case, you know, you're just sitting back here. So basically, like, looking at this part of the screen is not helpful because you know everything that's going on here already. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, if you do this, you at least get, you know, some information. Or you could, like, look over and see Phoenix's HP. All that. Anyway, I'm rambling about this, so let's go. Okay, so you start running over here. You have Sniper TP in as well. This is pretty bad fight.
Yeah, I think I remember deciding not to fight that.
Mm-hmm. It looks good at this point. Okay. So there were a couple of things that went wrong here. Ideally, you have teammates TP in here because they went really deep. But the big issue is you just ran over in the first place. I think a better option would be to buy a TP and then push this out. Basically, like, this is a weird play to make for sure, and you gotta have balls to do it, and you need to know it's a good play in the first place. Basically, when they commit on this kill, they're committed to this position for a little bit. So rather than running here, you could go here and push out the wave as much as you can, dagger into the trees, or like dagger this way, hit all the creeps, and go into the trees, and then TP top. And you get farm here, because like these guys are going to push if they get another kill here, and you know Sniper's pretty much committed. Wyvern's dead. This is your wave clear hero. So like if these guys are good, they're just going to run and push your tower down. Now as Spectre, like this is unique because you can be anywhere you want on the map if you have haunts, as long as there's an enemy hero there. So basically, by pushing out this wave rather than going back here and like doing this stuff, you're kind of like delaying their push. Because if you kill this creep wave, they can't push until the next one comes. So that would be good in this case. And you have the space to do this. Or maybe you can't kill it completely, but you can definitely kill the range creep and like one melee creep. And that would be really good, because that would limit their pushing. And if your teammates do decide to TP in and fight, so long as it's like a beneficial fight for you, you can just hunt in and be there at any moment. So it's okay for you to commit a TP in this way. And it just so happens that, in this case, there's a lot of farm top for you to get. So this would be like the ideal play, I think. Do I expect like 5 or 6K players to do this? Absolutely not. Do I expect myself to do this? Absolutely not. But it's something that like, you know, I'm seeing in this, so maybe it's something that you could do in a game. Or at least knowing about it will help, I think.
Although, you know, of course, at my tier, I would get pinged and flamed for leaving, but I'll take it. If it
oh, no. Right? Yeah, no, that's something that's really big, and like a lot of people talk to me about. I did calibrate at 3.5, so like, I feel you, dude. Like, I know how terrible it is. It can be brutal. Like, anything that is, you know, ditching a teammate or anything, even for the greater good. Like, you could, you know, leave this guy here and then go push top and get a Rax, and he'd still be pissed. Yeah. Like, yeah, I understand for sure. Generally, I just tell people not to care about what teammates say. And, like, you know, worst case scenario, you're wrong, and they're right. But you can usually assess that kind of thing if you do it objectively. But, yeah, I definitely understand what you mean. Okay. So, at this point, I mean, you're still Spectre, so you can always come back. It just kind of sucks because your item progression is, like, kind of stunted. Yeah. The Blade of Alacrity is, you know, it gives you 10 damage, which is great. It gives you some armor and attack speed as well, but doesn't give you nearly enough for how much gold you spent. And it's also not like you get a huge power spike when you get Diffusal. Like, you're still pretty, you know, you're okay. You do decent damage and you can slow people and stuff, but it's not, you know, close to a Radiance, or like the difference between Yasha Diffusal, and Diffusal is pretty big as well. Just because of the move speed and attack speed and everything. But yeah, this is kind of one of the issues with Diffusal Spectre is, like, yes, you get Diffusal earlier, but the power spike isn't really there. At least in my opinion. I don't know. I personally have no success with this.
We always have a Spec Go Vanguard. How do you feel about that? Like, I don't like that build, but...
it depends on the game. It depends on the game, right? Like, if they have a lot of right-clickers that don't do any magic damage, then it can be great. Because it's a ton of effective HP. And you can, like, fight with that item at that point. And you can go for Radiance afterward, and that's great. But in some games, if they have a lot of nukers, it's usually better to just go for the other HP path, which is like Aquila, Urn, Drums, some combination of those items. But Vanguard is okay. If you go Vanguard, I don't recommend going for a Diffusal. Definitely go Radiance.
Right, I usually would do the Diffusal Radiance. And then Heart or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that. I think if you go Radiance, you should just get like Phase Aquila, and then maybe a Drum or Urn. Actually, let's just call it Phase Aquila into Urn. Is like pretty much the standard for any Spectre build. Okay. Depending on if your team buys an Urn, of course. In which case, you can just go Bracer.
So Phase Aquila, Urn, Radiance.
Yeah, well, the Radiance thing is different. You can go Radiance in almost any game, and it's not bad. But in some games, the Yasha build is better. If you go like Drum Yasha into Diffusal. That's particularly good in games where you chase heroes down, like a CM or an Ancient Apparition, for example. Like, those heroes have no counterplay if you just like dagger them and like attack them. They could TP out and that's it, which is a win for you.
Right.
So that's like the very short answer to the Yasha build. But Radiance is almost never bad. Like the only time it's bad is if like you're playing against, you know, Avicii Gaming from TI4, who can just push your towers down with perfect execution, which I haven't played against them in matchmaking personally, but you know, maybe your experience is different. Who knows? But yeah, okay. Alright. So at this point, I almost want to say we should jump to a different replay. Up to you though, entirely.
If we could actually find one in the Dota buff lineup, I'm not sure that you are able to see the ones that I want to see. Like I had this one day in particular where I was just like on, and those are the games I want to have like tearing apart. You know, when I feel like I'm doing good, I want to see the mistakes in there.
Okay.
There was a Razor game in particular that I ended up getting a date on. Are you able to see that?
Yep. Okay, I got it. So I'll download it. The screen's probably frozen because I alt-tabbed. That's actually what... Okay.
It is.
Yep. That is what explains it. Excellent. Okay. That's good to know. I'm downloading it now, though. I'll share your screen in a sec.
But that's the game where I had like a gross amount of farm, right?
Yeah, you have 420...
items, at least.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have substantially more farm than you usually do. In terms of like just last hits to, you know, the time. Like you have 420 last hits in 110 minutes, which is, you know, pretty good compared to like the 250 that I saw in the Jug game.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to share screen. Whew, okay. Gonna check this out. The build was a little weird. I saw you had like heart and daedalus, which is interesting.
I felt compelled to go damage because no one on our team had damage at that time.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely get it. Like sometimes you just got to go damage and carry the team, even if it's like maybe not optimal for that hero or whatever. Which I usually don't subscribe to that belief, but yeah. Okay, so real quick, looking at the lineups, Razor is typically good against, you know, heroes like Sven who are melee, and you can just sap them and take their damage. It's fantastic. Really good hero against Sven for sure. Okay. So you're going for a Wraithband build here. It looks like you're like almost confused, like you're trying to do what a pro does, but you're doing it wrong. I could be incorrect, of course. Like feel free to let me know. But basically, like Wraithband components are circlet, slippers, and a recipe. So what pros will often do is they'll go for the circlet and the recipe, and then buy the slippers at the side shop.
Right. Because
that's the only part that you can buy at the side shop. So that's a really good thing to do. If you're going for Aquila.
With things. I did not know though that you could buy the slippers at the side shop. So.
Yep, you can do that. So that's pretty good, especially if you're safe lane and going Aquila and everything. You might as well. It's like free stats almost for the same gold. Okay. So also you want to make sure not to skill up so early. There are situations where you're going to be getting static link at level 1. Especially in lane, against like a melee hero or whatever. Or even here, you could just static link the Pugna and chase him. And like, he has no counterplay. What's he going to do? He could like decrep you and that's it. But how many Pugnas are going to know to start with decrep?
Right.
So like, here you definitely had like an aggressive opportunity if you didn't have a Plasma Field. I mean, you could still get aggressive on him here, and he can't do anything, which I think you should have, but you don't have the chance to kill him, really. He does have like almost 100 movement speed on you, though, so it's pretty tough. But yeah. Okay. So that's big, but it's okay. Again, like any safe lane hero, definitely start with 2 sets of regen. That's a big one. That will help you in a lot of lanes that, you know, you lose a lot of HP in, for sure.
Yeah, I'll definitely switch to doing that from now on.
It's quite good. Okay. See, like here, this guy's being silly. If you had static link, you can just punish him.
This game.
Oh, is he? Okay. That's probably how you get so farmed then. Alright. I'd imagine that's part of it anyway.
Yeah. It is a little bit.
Okay. So this is like a general theory against like heroes with AoE nukes is in lane. People are very inclined to use their AoE nukes to get CS and harass. That's just like a natural thing that Dota players do. So in this case, like, so this is actually a camera thing too. That's interesting. But in this case, since your creeps are so low, you need to be like keeping this in the back of your mind that like if this guy stops to nuke, it's pretty much guaranteed going in this general direction. Because like you know, these creeps are low, so he wants to get the CS and harass. So your positioning should be somewhere around here rather than
outside the AoE blast.
Yeah, basically. or like where you think he's going to do it. You can't read him 100%, but you can, you know, kind of get the idea that he's going to do it.
Right. That seems obvious now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not in game though. Like it's one thing, you know, entirely to look at it in a replay, but it's totally different in game, for sure. Like I definitely get that. Also here, like you didn't even get a chance to look because your camera was so far up, like right here. Like you just didn't even see the animation. So that's big.
Right, I see that block of wasted space again.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, it's a very common thing for lower MMR players for sure. Okay.
AoE blast.
Okay. Okay. So you are missing a lot of CS. It's not helpful for me to say like, you know, you should get more last hits, but I think it is helpful to say that you should practice more.
Yeah.
It's just something like I don't know like how much time you have to play Dota or whatever. Like I get that people can't just play all day, but just like doing like 2 to 5 minutes every day, like before you start playing, it's a really good idea to just do the last hit challenge thing, and you know, try to get better at that, because like CSing is everything. You know, like this might sound a little dramatic, but games can be lost based on like literally 2 CS. Like imagine being in a situation where like you need to complete your BKB or something, and you also need to buy a TP scroll. And because you missed 2 CS in lane, you need to choose one or the other. And if you buy the BKB, then you can't TP home. And if you don't buy the BKB and you TP home instead, you don't have the money, and you need the BKB to win the team fight. So like every CS really does matter. Obviously, every game's not going to come down to that, right? But
I get your point. Though.
Yeah, okay. 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 Well, let's see if anything. Yeah. See what could have been done better, I guess. Okay, so he actually just front into tower range. I mean, I think you played that correctly. You use your spells. That was good. Yeah. Okay, get phase. Pretty good.
I love phase on Razor. It suggests treads on him, but
yeah, I think phase are good. Treads are okay if you're farming a lot, I think, but phase are pretty good as well. Phase are definitely better for fighting, in most cases anyway. Okay. So you go for S and Y. I think S and Y on Racer is great. Movement speed, very good item, or very good stat rather. Okay, keep pushing. I think I would go for an Aquila, just because it's like very slot efficient, and also the mana regen is nice.
I'm gonna start building that though now.
Yeah, it's a very good item, I think. In my opinion, anyway. Like for any agi hero, really. At least anyone that's last hitting. Okay. This is all fine. So like here, since you have phase, when this guy walks up for a blast like this, it's actually worth it to just punish him and like go ham. Basically like right here, if you just link him and phase onto him, he has no counterplay. Like if he turns to decrep, which he doesn't even have skilled, he gets purged. If he decreps himself, then he's slowed. So like basically this was a kill, pretty much guaranteed, since you have phase boots. As soon as he walks into range like this, you should just go on him. It applies like specifically to Pugna just because he's like such a low HP hero, but yeah.
Right.
Okay. So this isn't bad. Like zoning the offlaner is good, but you need to make sure you're not missing CS during this time. And I think you miss. Okay, he missed range creep. Yeah, so you missed 1 CS for that, and that's okay. But you could have done the same thing without missing CS if you had been paying attention to the HP of the creeps. Like you get this one, that's good. You hit him here, then you can just immediately back off and go for the CS. Because this guy, he's effectively zoned already. Like you don't have to go anywhere past this point for him to not be in CS range. And that's like the ultimate goal, right? Is get him out of EXP range. Like right. Even if you decide to give up this melee creep, you can just turn here, and then this guy is still zoned. If he walks back up, then you can just turn on him and do the same thing. Okay. Okay. So first mistake here was like you didn't link right away. Oh, you clicked on the tower as well. Okay. So I don't actually think you kill him. 91. Okay, he would like barely live if he had armor. He has 1 armor, so he might actually die, but it's pretty close. But anyway, yeah, the math is silly, but yeah. So basically, like, first mistake was you waited a tiny bit too long on the plasma fields. You could have done it at like slightly farther away, so you get more damage, and that would have killed him probably, since you have so many points in it. And then after that, not static linking is also kind of a mistake. I guess like you could make an argument that if you just plasma field from farther away, so you get more damage, then you kill him with this right click. But you end up right clicking the tower. You see there, so that's pretty big. But yeah, I mean it's not the end of the world. Obviously, it's just 1 kill, but it does matter for sure.
Okay, before we go on, I noticed the time is up, and I probably will end up buying more hours, but I know you say that we should split.
Yep.
You know, and work on and then come back to.
Yeah, so I generally recommend like splitting up hours just because like you want to be able to apply this stuff before your next lesson or whatever. Or if you decide not to, you still get that experience. But yeah, I'm not counting the first 10 minutes where like I had tech issues. Like we still have like 5 minutes if you want to keep going.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. No, that'd be bullshit for me to do that. Like I made you try something like it's like a bad skin. Okay. So yeah. All right.
I'm telling you, the pug now.
Yeah, so this is why you got so farmed for sure, or part of the reason anyway. I mean, the only mistake here is like you didn't go for it auto sooner. Basically, as soon as he walks up, like even right here, you just plasma field phase turn, and he dies. Whereas like if you didn't do that, and if he doesn't, just turn back and literally feed himself, then yeah.
Right.
I get the feeling that this guy's trolling personally, but maybe he's not. Who knows? I don't know. Like he even drops a ward. Like, I guess he life drains, so maybe he thought he could kill you or something, but I don't know. Anyway, it's not important. Okay, get the last hit. Good. Okay. Yeah, this guy's just chain feeding. Okay.
Yeah,
So
went pretty well.
yeah. Oh, in a lane like this, though, you should have free farm for sure. Like you should have upwards of 60 CS. You're gonna miss some because you're going for so many kills, but definitely should have around 60, 65 at this point.
Okay. And what? Just because the E is blocking the last hit counter, what am I at right now?
45.
Okay. So okay.
Okay, you went for Sanj first. That's fine. Also, if you go for S and Y, I think you should go for Aquila and Wand. Magic Wand is a really good item on heroes like Razor who just fight a lot. I don't recommend it on Spectre or Jug just because they're so slot like starved usually, but Razor doesn't really have that same issue, so that would be good, I think.
Gotcha. Especially against the Puglet too, right?
Yeah, he's going to be casting so many spells, so.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, basically anytime this guy walks into lane, like you don't have to be afraid at all. Okay, so it's different when there's 2 heroes behind him for sure.
I don't remember it. Yeah, I think I do die here.
Yeah, it looks like you did. I guess this was just an awareness thing. Like you didn't react properly to Invoker showing up on your screen.
Right.
But yeah. Okay, so you do end up dying, which sucks. Okay, so I guess like the lesson here is when you go aggressive, you need to make sure that it's not like too risky. Like in this case, there are a lot of heroes off the map, like all of them. So it's a little scary. Right. So, right. You feel me? Okay. So in this case, if you're going to go aggressive, then you kind of have to keep it controlled. Like you can't run past the creep wave really, because heroes could show up here at any time. Different if you have a lane ward, obviously. Yeah, like they did here, and you still had some time to react, but it becomes a harder play at that point. Whereas like you could very easily do your job by just standing here and like zoning him that way. You didn't really have to chase all this way.
I think that was greed.
Okay.
I thought I could get another kill on him. This was so easy.
Yeah, like you've already completely secured the lane at this point. Like it's good to keep killing him if you can, but the worst thing you can do is give a return kill like this, because that's how this guy comes back. Is like he rubber bands. Okay.
So I should have kind of, once I had the lane secured, I should have played safely.
Well, more controlled. You don't have to play like safe, but you definitely need to play safer. Like you still have control of this lane, so you can stand like, okay, like I was saying before, you can stand like here and just like make it known that you have control of the lane. But you can't just like run past the creep wave so far like this. Like basically when you get to this point, that's where you start making a mistake. Like this is the line of mistake in this case. Like anything past this point is like, you know, a for sure mistake. Because like if you stand here like just on the edge of this line, then like he's still zoned. What's he gonna do? Hit you? Like you're just gonna hit him back and you're gonna win the trade. You're stronger at this point. But once you get past here, it gets into the point where like, oh, you know, heroes could show up, they could come out of fog. Just becomes a little weird. Obviously this is entirely dependent on the creep positioning, but yeah. Okay, yeah, I think you get my point. So.
Yeah.
Okay. So you die. That sucks. Not the end of the world though. It is kind of bad because you're Razor and he's like a very snowbally hero. He doesn't really have a way to just flash farm and get back in the game. But yeah. Okay. Seen up TPing top. Okay, you guys get the tower. Okay. Okay. This looks fine to me. Okay, you get tornadoed, impede. Omni should repel you here. Okay, you get repelled. He gets mana leak though, that sucks.
I think he dies here.
Yeah, he does. Okay. I mean, you could try to go for a static link play. It's pretty tough though. Like just static link the invoker and then keep kiting. I think you should always try it because that will deter some players from going in. Especially inexperienced ones. Basically, like, look at this guy's perspective. If he gets static linked right here, he can't go on the Razor because he's Razor that's repelled. Then, in order for him to chase, he has to chase through a static link, like, and just keep getting that, damage leak from him.
Should I have cut down through the trees toward Omni Knight if I was like linked? Because it would have broken if I had continued on my path that way.
Yeah, I think the idea is you stay next to Omni because like they have no CCs to catch you, and then if they chase, then Razor's getting static linked or Invoker's getting static linked, and then it's hard for him to make that decision. I think he still kills Omni, especially with like wisp damage, but it becomes more difficult at that point. So I think that would have been the play.
Okay.
That's still pretty tough to say though for sure. Okay, actually, does this guy have a soul ring? He does. Okay, so yeah, maybe that would actually be a good turn. I think is if he went back here. Okay, so Omni has a soul ring, right? And he gets all of his mana drained from this EMP. If you static link here, because you can't get hit by the EMP, like static link, around here at this point, where they chase, Omni might have his soul ring up soon. Okay, no, he doesn't. Never mind, 10 seconds. So scratch that. You still might have the opportunity to turn if Invoker doesn't do any more damage, but, yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. It's whatever. Okay, so I'm going to fast forward, and then we should probably recap, because we are pretty much out of time.
Okay.
Okay, so you went for AC. I mean, this is okay. Personally, I like Shiva for defensive items. You should consider it when they have a lot of right clickers like this team, or a lot of melee heroes. It's especially good against Sven. But yeah, everything else looks okay. Could also consider Aghanims, but it's not particularly good.
Yeah, I consider that over the AC.
No.
No?
Not over the AC, no. Over the Daedalus, maybe, but the AC is really high value against these heroes. Like, they do a lot of physical damage, and you do a lot of physical damage, so it matches up nicely.
Right.
Okay, so, big things to take away from this, I think, were, like, the creep aggro trick. I think that will help you out quite a bit, like in the Spectre game. Trying to think of what else there was. I mean, that was, like, the big lesson. Also, being able to pull this camp is really good. You can do it on Dire as well.
Right.
That helps quite a bit. But yeah, I think in general, just like you would benefit a lot from just getting like, or filling out your foundational skills a little bit, or fundamental skills. Jesus, I literally cannot speak English. Okay, so filling out or getting better at like your fundamentals. So just like creep equilibrium, damage foresight, like understanding how much damage your hero does. You know what kills you can go for. CSing, obviously, that's a big one. Everyone can get better at that. Yeah, but the big ones are like creep equilibrium and CSing. I think those would benefit you the most from just practicing and really focusing on those.
Right on. I'll work on that.
Okay. Do you have any like final questions or anything like that?
No. Do you mind if I shoot you a question or two, like during the week or whatever?
Oh, absolutely not. No, that's totally cool.
All right. Yeah. No, otherwise, I guess I'll see you maybe same time next week.
Sure. Yeah, we can talk about that. You know, in Discord or Skype or whatever. But yeah, any questions you have, just feel free to send them my way. That's totally cool.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right. I hope this is